Imagine you are creating something, you get to create something. Maybe it's an idea, a framework, or a powerful message drawn from your own experience, and you share that on social media and it goes viral. People resonate with your message, people like it, they share it, and it becomes this thing that is almost a movement. But somebody who's bigger than you, somebody who has a bigger platform, more followers, a celebrity status, then takes this idea and they don't give you credit. They don't acknowledge your work. They go ahead and they publish the book. They file a trademark, and they profit from what you created, and leaving you behind, and they don't give you any credit whatsoever. This isn't just a hypothetical. This is something that we are seeing more and more now in this digital world with small creators, small independent creators. And this is a controversy that we are going to be covering today, the controversy between Mel Robbins, the author of the Let Them theory, and Casey Phillips, the author of the Let Them poem. I am Veronica, and I am part of the PSS Creative Media. If you don't know what we do, well, we teach you how to create and grow and manage powerful video and podcast content. If you're ready to create content that actually moves the needle, and want to work with us one-on-one to get personalized training, expert guidance, and a custom roadmap to build for custom roadmap built for you, make sure that you go to pss.media and we can help you there. And this is Content Sancocho. This is our show. This is a show for creators. Every Friday we meet here and I share with you industry insights, different tools and techniques to make you a better content creator. And today we are talking about this very important issue. When you create something, is it yours? When you put it out in the internet, and it becomes viral, like who belongs to who this thing that you created? Does it belong to you or belongs to the person who decides to profit off of it? That's a good question, and that's what we're going to address in this live stream here on Friday. And at the center of this controversy are these two women, Casey Phillips and Mel Robbins. Um, Mel Robbins is somebody who I admire, and I've been following for many many years. I have read all of her books. She is in the self-help industry. She's a motivational speaker, and this is her third book that I have read. I'm in the middle of listening to this book, The Let Them theory, and I'm very fond on this woman. I admire her and I admire her work. And we have Casey, which is an independent creator, somebody who was going through a very tough time in her life, and that inspired her to write the Let Them poem, a beautiful poem that went viral. And I'm going to read the poem for you, and you're going to understand why. And so there's these two women in the middle of this controversy. Mel has been going around talking about her book, talking about how this is her legacy, and also Casey claiming that this is very important for her as well. So let's just let me show you the facts. Let me show you what I found in my research and see what's the conclusion of this. So let's see. Let's look at this to the body of work of each individual woman. So here to the left we have the Let Them poem, and then to the right we have the Let Them theory. The Let Them theory by Mel Robbins is a book that has sold more than 1 million copies. Is #1 in the New York Times bestseller list under the advice of how to category I took a screenshot of this. And then, here we have the poem. I went to Casey's Instagram and I took a screenshot of her poem, and I added it here to my research. And so, what is the Let Them theory? The book that Mel published. What it's all about surrender, and it's a step-by-step guide on how you can stop learning to let go of other people's opinions and drama and judgment, and how all this can impact your life. And the core idea is to focus on surrender and letting go of control, and take control of your own actions, because ultimately that's what you have control over. You don't have control over other people. So really a really cool book and a really cool approach. I'm currently listening to the book. I listen to multiple books at the same time. I don't know if that's by me being ADHD, but I just get bored, so I jump from one book to the other. So that's just happens that I started it like a month ago and I haven't even finished it. I want to make a disclaimer. Like I said at the beginning, I am not here to accuse either party of anything. I'm just here to present the facts. I am a fan of Mel's work. I don't know her side of the story. I'm going to show to you some of the statements that she has made regarding this issue. There was this article that got released a few days ago on the NYPost, and there are some words from her on this article, and I'm going to read those to you. But this is so this is just part of the facts, the research that I did. I'm going to present this to you, and if you have any opinion about the matter, I'm going to ask you to be respectful here. If you're going to share your thoughts in the comments, just be respectful of other people. But so yeah, I just want to create this, this the peaceful dialogue around this issue, because what's important is the learning that we're going to get here as creators, and how we can move forward having that information that is going to empower us to make better decisions when we are creating our own intellectual property. So that's the whole point of this. So how did I come across this information? It was very interesting because I like TikTok. I'm as bad as my kids with. I have a TikTok problem, but I'm. I don't have a TikTok problem. Okay, I'm not diagnosing myself. I just like to see what's going on in the world. With caution though, because there are some there's so much misinformation on TikTok. I mean, it's just is horrible, the things that you can find there that are just like flat out lies. But I came across this clip, and it was saying this about Mel Robbins. This person was very angry and was calling her like like she was taking advantage of small creators and stealing ideas and all this. And I just decided to put it aside. I'm like, this is another TikTok creator just maybe taking things to the extreme, or just spreading lies and rumors. But then I came across this creator on LinkedIn, and she posted about the issue in a way that caught my attention. When you compare platforms, LinkedIn, you have a lot of professionals, like people there that like very concerned about their reputation, and they just want to be as close to the facts and neutral as possible, different than TikTok. But here she was saying like, the post starts with, "Have you read the poem that Mel Robbins allegedly plagiarized?" And that just caught my attention, like what's going on. So it talks about, how Casey Phillips was the author of the Let Them poem and all of that. And I'm going to introduce you, I'm going to show you the timeline of the events so you can be the own judge for this. But the thing that caught my attention was that if we look at the comments, there was an article that was shared here on the comments of this post. and I clicked on the article and it took me to Sage Justice. Sage is also an author, and she's written different books about self-help. I went to her website and I saw all of her books. She's done some incredible work when it comes to publishing self-help books. And then she has a few articles talking about this issue with Mel Robbins. And I just got even more curious, like, what's going on? This deserves my attention. I'm a very busy person. Don't think that I'm just spend my time just, looking for chisme or controversies, or the only reason why I do this is because of the show. Just kidding. I like the controversy. I like the chisme. So I just needed to get to the bottom of this. And so Sage, in one of her articles, she does a very an impeccable work of first she reached out to Casey Phillips and interviews her. Like, she gets her side of the story, and here we see a photo of Casey with a tattoo on her arm that says "Let Them." By the way, this whole movement with the "Let Them" poem that she started, people were tattooing those two words on their bodies just to remind them of this poem. And I guess I didn't read you the poem, but you can go find it. I'm going to leave the link to the poem here in the description of this live stream, so you can go read it. I'm going to read some parts of the poem later. But anyway, so here's the article. I took a screenshot of this just to show you. Sage is an advocate for small creators, for authors. Like, she wants to bring attention to this issue and how big creators, celebrities, people who have a lot of influence have a moral and ethical obligation to to give a shout out to the small creators that they are using to get inspiration for their work. So that's the whole thing that Sage is doing with this articles that she's posting on Substack, is just getting attention to this issue, and how with now we have AI and ChatGPT, and it's easier for people to write books and to copy other people's ideas, because if you have posted your work online, then ChatGPT will find it, and ChatGPT will feed it to other people trying to find that information or trying to create intellectual property as well. So it's an issue that I don't think the laws haven't gotten caught up with it. Did I say that correctly? So
yes.
Here's the timeline.
Yes, very well said.
Mm-hmm. Here's the timeline. I'm going to stop for comments. Do we have any comments? Do we have any questions?
If we have any comments or questions, they haven't popped in yet, but we did have a "Hey there, love your show" from C Daily.
Hey.
And anyone else who's tuning in, make sure you say hey. Mm-hmm. We've got Jay Bryan actually just said that let me get this, pull this other clip away. I think common words are common words, not to be trademarked.
Yes. So let's get into that. So what happened? So in 2019, Casey Phillips, she writes the poem "Let Them." And in 2022, September of 2022, the poem "Let Them" goes viral. Like I said, people are tagging each other. They're getting tattoos with these two words. It becomes a movement. In October of 2022, then she writes another poem that it's a continuation of the "Let Them," and now this other poem is called "Let You," and it goes viral again in 2023. It's May of 2023. Mel Robbins makes a viral TikTok and IG reel sharing how she discovered this "Let Them" theory. And then we can play that video of Mel.
Let's take a look at this. Let's see what it looks like. And more importantly, let's see if I can figure out how to...
Pay attention to the words.
Yes. And here we go. And there's just music playing while I try to figure it out. Thought we had, we had it right here. Aha, and it's actually this right here. Cool.
I just heard about this thing called the Let Them theory. I freaking love this. If your friends are not inviting you out to brunch this weekend, let them. If the person that you're really attracted to is not interested in a commitment, let them. If your kids do not want to get up and go to that thing with you this week, let them. So much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations. And the truth is, if somebody, especially somebody you're dating or who's a friend or somebody you're trying to partner with in business, if they are not showing up how you need them to show up, do not try to force them to change. Let them be themselves because they are revealing who they are to you. Just let them. And then you get to choose what you do next.
So what I did was that I took Casey's poem and then this clip that Mel posted back in 2023, and I gave it to ChatGPT and I said, could you make a comparison of both uh, the video that she posted on her Instagram when she discovered the Let Them theory and the poem. And this is important because one of the arguments is that she discovered the Let Them theory when she was at her son's prom event, and that's how she discovered the theory. And I'm going to share more of that in a minute. But did she discover it this way when she was trying to be mama bear and was trying to to control everything and to micromanage and to uh, uh, having everything perfect for her son's prom? Or was it that she came across of the Let Them theory by maybe seeing something on social media? Maybe it was something on TikTok that Casey started. So here we have, I'm just gonna say a few of these things if I can get this to work. Okay, so on the left we have Casey's poem, and on the right we have Mel's words. So if they want to choose something or someone over you, let them.
Hey, maybe I could do the Mel part.
Okay.
It could be fun.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's do it.
Okay.
If they want to choose something or someone over you, let them.
If your friends are not inviting you out to brunch this weekend, let them.
If they want to go weeks without talking to you, let them.
If the person that you're really attracted to is not interested in a commitment, let them.
If they're okay with never seeing you, let them.
If your kids don't want to get up and go to that thing with you this week, let them.
If they're okay with always putting themselves first, let them.
I gotta really channel my Mel here because I don't think I'm doing a good Mel. Okay. Can you start over with that one, please?
If they're okay with always putting themselves first, let them.
Okay, and
so much time.
Oh yeah, sorry, I lost track of where I was. So much time and energy is wasted on forcing other people to match our expectations.
So
it was bad.
Pretty bad. So there are significant differences here, but it has happened to as creators, we can see something and then we can take that thing that we saw that apply to something else and then use it to talk to our audience in a certain way. So this may be something that could have happened. She came across this post, and I'm not accusing Mel of anything. Like I said, we haven't heard her side of the story, or we have heard her side of the stories on her book. So we're not accusing her of anything. But so that's how close her words are to the original poem. Then in 2024, Mel Robbins files to trademark the phrase "let them." And when I found this, I had to I went on a rabbit hole of like, okay, like what, how, and when did this happen? And so I went to the USPTO website, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and I found the original filing of the trademark. And here's a screenshot. And the trademark was filed on July 2024. And another interesting thing that I found is that if you go to, this is, by the way, this is a public record. When you file a trademark, then everybody can see what you filed for and the documents that you have shared for your filing. But it says pending, and the reason the mail wants to do this, the reason why people file trademarks, is because they want to have ownership, and they want to secure the legal rights over the phrase, in this case, "let them," for books, courses, and merchandise. She wants to be able to sell journals with the "let them" theory. She wants to be able to keep using those words on her book. She wants to maybe create courses, and she wants to be able to, that's something that you do to block the competition for using the same words, and for making money off of that thing that you created, from them to be able to use it commercially. In this case, Casey Phillips and other people who may want to use "let them" on mugs or merchandise, or if they want to have an online course or whatever. And we are going to see some clips where Mel shares that this is her legacy. So it's obvious that you want to move on with filing a trademark in this case. And you want to have legal leverage also. If somebody is using that phrase or that word that you trademark, then you can send them a letter and ask them politely, nicely, but in a lawyery manner, that they have to stop using it, and they have to by law. So in 2024, September, October, Mel announces that she is writing the book "Let Them." And November of 2024, the USPTO determined that "let them" is a widely used message that fails to function as a mark, and asks for more information. And if you go into the filing, that there were 2 phone calls that were made between the attorney for the USPTO and Mel's attorney, so we don't know what went on. But by this is the official letter from the USPTO attorney. But some of the files and the things that I found in the filing of this trademark, it seems to be that the problem is that when you go online and you do a search, that there's a lot of people already using the word "let them." There are people on Etsy selling bracelets, artwork. It's all over social media. And also, that Casey Phillips was is a name that keeps coming up in the search for this. So in 2024, she publishes her book, "The Let Them Theory," and Hay House is the publisher for Mel's book. And in her chapter, we get to find out that how Mel came across this life-changing theory. And it was, like I already mentioned, it was her son's high school prom, and she was trying to control and micromanage the whole event. But her daughter, made her snap out of her, her trance that all moms go through when they're planning events for their kids, with the words "let them," "let them, mom. If they want to do this, let them." So that's how she came across this theory, and this, the realization that she says that completely changed her life. So in 2025, so this year, she heavily promotes her book, and she goes on the Oprah show, I mean, this is this woman, it goes on everything. Like, she's on the Today Show, she's on like Jay Shetty's podcast, and she in the brand new show for Khloe Kardashian. And if we can just play a clip of her appearances and see what she says about the book and the theory, the Let Them theory.
Let's do it. Let's pop over into that clip.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
And my daughter, who is home from college, reaches out, grabs my arm with that sort of like forceful grip and yanks me towards her. And she's like, Mom, you're being annoying.
Was this Sawyer?
This was Kendall.
Okay, this was Kendall.
This was Kendall. So, and she's like, Mom, if they want to get wet, let them get wet. But he's going to ruin his shoes. Mom, if he's going to ruin his shoes, ruin his shoes. But her dress. Mom, let them. Mom, let them do what they want to do. But they don't have restaurant. Let them eat at a taco stand. Let them get wet. Let them dance all night in wet tuxedos. For crying out loud, Mom, it's their prom, not yours. Just let them. And there was something about the cascade of let them, let them, let them, let them, that it just hit me. And I thought, yeah, let them.
Let them.
Because the second you say let them, you instantly release control.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to say, let me. Let me remind myself that in life and in this moment, there are only three things I can actually control. That's it. I can control what I think about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can control.
Mel, I've learned so much from you today, honestly.
I truly accept and feel how heartfelt and honest those words are. Because this is, I think, my legacy. I do. I think that this is the thing I was supposed to figure out and leave the world.
I believe it too. Thank you.
So on February 2025, Mel files for a 3-month extension of her trademark, and that's why the status of the trademark filing, it says pending. On March 12th of 2025, just last week, the NYPost article titled "Let Her Army Wife Claims Mel Robbins Stole Her Idea for Blockbuster Self-Help Book." And I'm going to share the link to the source as well. And here's, let me find this in my computer because. So I'm having some issues with my contacts today. Your girl.
Not the computer, just the contacts.
Your girl is blind. So let me find this, what the article says. The article goes and, when asked about the timeline allegations, Robbins reiterated, people can obsess over any detail, but the facts are simple. I have not seen her poem. I have not read her poem. And it was not and will never be the source of inspiration for my book. This is nonsense. I have spent 10 years shining a light on other people's work. So the allegation that I would steal someone else's work is ridiculous. As I write in the Let Them theory, you cannot control what people say, do, feel, or choose to make up about you. People can say anything about you at school, at work, on the internet, and you can't control it. Let them. And then this article posted by Michael Kaplan, or like written by Michael Kaplan, and he also interviews Casey Phillips. And it says that for all the back and forth, Phillips acknowledged that the beloved line did not originate with her, that she said that she was actually inspired by Tyler Perry's popular Medea character who appears in numerous films and stage plays. She says that she came across the Let Them trending sound on TikTok from this film. And indeed, Let Them is a phrase employed by many on Etsy. Numerous sellers offer merch and with the phrase, from beaded bracelets to sweatshirts, whatever the fonts, designs, entirely distinct from Robin's book cover. So in the LinkedIn thread, I also, people were sharing like how these words are not new, how this whole idea of let them surrender is not new. Somebody shared that there's a talk by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and it's titled "Let Them Walk."
Goes back, but and there are people who can walk on nothing. I can say I don't have to hoop, I don't have to make you shout. I have just preached right now. When people can walk away from you, let them walk. I don't want you to try to talk enough.
So every time I listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes, I'm like, he's a powerful man. It's powerful. And other people are saying that this is rooted into, older traditions and older beliefs, and it's even in the, Serenity prayer, this whole idea of surrender. So that this isn't something new. It's been used in the past. So the issue here, like, is this a copyright infringement case? Because those are major words. Like, we have a creator, an independent creator, who was very proud of her work, and who, in the middle of some like really tough personal struggles, like she writes this beautiful poem and she creates a movement, and she finding that supporting her community validation, like she's changing lives, people are getting tattoos. And then on the other hand, like we have this woman who has like built her, her career, and now she's talking about this being her legacy. And little by little this is becoming a more publicized issue, and now her name is going to be attached to the word infringement. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be on either side of this case. So if we look at infringement under Title 17 of the United States Code, and once again, I can't see.
Great.
I'm gonna have to.
Just great. You're looking at Title 17 of the code. You're gonna need to be able to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to be able to see. So under the Title 17 of the United States Code, Section 102, it says that copyright protection subsists in accordance with this title. And let me make a disclaimer. I am not, I don't specialize in copyright law. This is something that I got very curious about, and I wanted to do more research about it and see what are the laws that protect copyright. Because I am creating, like, we're in the middle of like really creating our own book. Stephen is in the middle of writing his book. We create a lot of intellectual property. So this is something that I was very interested in, and I wanted to just look at the statute, look at what's going on, and what are the laws and protections that we have. So it says,
for whatever reason, these statutes and are just very interesting to you.
Yes.
Your lawyer background,
Well,
you just can't help it.
Yeah.
You got to go check out the statutes.
I do. So in accordance with this title, in original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium of expression now known or later developed, from which they can be perceived or reproduced or otherwise communicated either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. Works of authorship include the following categories: literary works. So it's
I really, sorry to interrupt you, but I really messed up on that one for this use case. Could you just read a little bit of that again, or are you going to continue to read more legal stuff?
I'm going to continue to read more legal stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah. Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
So, and the first
one is literary works, which that's what we are talking about in this case. It's a poem. Casey Phillips wrote a poem. She's the author of the poem. So let's continue reading this. So
copyright protection automatically applies the moment an original work is fixed in a tangible medium, for example, written down, typed, or recorded. This means that Casey Phillips' poem was protected as soon as she wrote or published it online, even if she never officially registered it. So is protected. So exclusive rights of copyright holders. So under Title 17, Section 106, the copyright owner has exclusive rights to reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works, and publicly display the work, which is what she did. She created, she wrote her poem, she created, the graphic, she posted it on her social media channels, and she publicly displayed her work. So if Mel used her poem verbatim or derivative portions of Casey's poem without permission, she may be in violation of this exclusive rights. So how are you infringing on copyright? Well, a person infringes
copyright when they use a protected work, which we already know is automatically protected when you create it. And
it's an original version without authorization in a way that violates Section 106. If Mel's book or video substantially reproduces the poem's protected elements, it could constitute infringement. If Mel copied or closely paraphrased the poem without permission, she could be in violation of Title 17, Article 106.
And this is where things get really weird, right? Because this is where AI changes everything. Because you could give a book or a page or anything to AI and it will spit it out in a different way, much like the poem or the version of the poem that we read between the poet and Mel. It was, paraphrasing. So is paraphrasing copyright? And this is saying that it isn't really copy. You can paraphrase.
Yes, you can paraphrase. It has to be copied or closely paraphrased according to this statute. And if you have read Mel's book or if you have listened to the audiobook, like she uses this let them theory, but I was paying attention to the book and all the things that she mentions, like each chapter, she includes a lot of, her other teachings that she shares on her podcast and also on her two other books, the high five theory and the 5-second rule. Yeah, the high five theory and the 5-second rule. So really, this is just a theory that she's coming up with, but what she's saying she has already shared in her other books, and it's a totally different thing. And also in her book she shares the work of people that have been on guest on her podcast, and she gives credit to those people as well. So let's keep reading. So if Robbins transformed the work significantly, she may argue fair use, a legal determination of substantial similarity and access to the original work. Common infringement cases would be necessary to decide if infringement occurs. So when we see things like this in the statute, like substantial similarity or access to the original work, we know immediately that right here, this is going to be litigation, and that we're going to have to hire attorneys, and that this is going to be costly. And that here we have a woman with wealth. Here we have a woman with celebrity status that has access to attorneys and has money to pay attorneys. And we have a new creator, an independent creator, who hasn't been making any money with her work, trying to fight this. So that's the problem that some creators may encounter, and it's heartbreaking. It's not cool. It kind of makes you lose faith in humanity and in people, that things like this happen. But under the law, it's very difficult to fight these things, and they're costly. So, however, registration is required to sue for damages. So, even if this is proved, like how do you, so damages is something that you recover, that you fight for on a civil suit, which is, this will be considered a civil suit because it's between two parties, is different from a criminal proceeding. So under Title 17, Section 411A, copyright holders must register their work before they can file a copyright infringement lawsuit. So if she went to move forward, find her attorney and file and try to file a lawsuit, then she would have to register her poem before she can move on with this. If the poem is not registered, she cannot sue for infringement until she completes the registration process. So she has to register the poem, and then she will be able to sue. The benefits of copyright registration is that if registered before infringement occurs, so you create something, you write something, it's your intellectual property, you register it before the infringement, then the copyright owner can seek statutory damages up to $150,000 per willful infringement and attorney's fees. What does this mean? That like immediately, if that is something, if you already register your work and you are the copyright owner, then if all other things are proven, willful infringement, the person just took your work and used it and started like making profit off of it, or something along those lines, then you don't have to prove damages. The damages are already established by the statute. So this is immediately the damages are awarded to you, which is money. But if you register after the infringement, then things can get a little hairy, because then the owner can still sue. So you can still sue as a creator, but only for actual damages and lost profits. So here, like, you have to prove what were the damages that you incur because of the infringement on your intellectual property. So you have to, show receipts that this is, the contracts that you lost, the income that you lost, or maybe, the sales that you lost. And so it becomes this thing that it can be more costly, because now you have to prove damages. So what does this mean for Casey Phillips? Well, if her poem was not registered before Mel's book, then she can still register now her poem, and then sue for actual damages. And if she did register before Mel published her book, then she has a stronger case and can pursue for statutory damages. I know that was a lot. And I know that was like intense, and we're sweating here, and I'm thirsty.
It was a lot of legal talk.
And you're like, okay, now what do we do?
A lot of legal stuff.
What do we do? I am getting very stressed. I don't want people to like steal my intellectual property. Like what's even mine anymore? Like we were mentioning AI and how you can't just, the other day, like something I like to do to get, perspective and maybe, a different view on an issue. Something that I've been doing with ChatGPT is like acting like so and so, and so I can be like, acting like Mel Robbins. And this is like because I use this woman for inspiration. Like she's been on the lows with me. Like every time I get off track, I get all mopey and depressed. Like her show is my go-to, her books are my go-to. So I have a chat that is called the Mel. What would Mel do? And you can ask ChatGPT, acting like Mel Robbins. So what it does is that it goes and crawls the internet and gathers all of her publications and the thing that she has posted online, her social media posts and all that. Now with deep research, is like even more in detail. And then ChatGPT talks to me like Mel. Right, and that's something that can be used to create like your own intellectual property, but you're using somebody else's work and somebody else's words, and work that people have been doing and have been putting together for years. So this is a big issue. Like nobody has the answer, and I don't think the laws have gotten caught up. Like copyright laws have gotten caught up with this AI because it came on us like so quick, and so like we're just like trying to make sense of it, and trying to see like how do we navigate this new world of AI. So it falls on us for now, if until we get into a case that may go all the way to the Supreme Court, and somebody can tell us what to do. But it falls on us as creators to it's our duty, our moral obligation, our ethical obligation to protect one another, to not forget that we were a small creator ones, that when we get to the top, that we don't walk on other people, that we don't use other people's intellectual property, that we don't give them credit, like without give them credit and recognition. And I'm not arguing and I'm not saying that this is what happened here. Like it's unclear like how these things came about, but the similarities are there. Like, and it's putting this like sour taste in my mouth when it comes to her work, because up until this point, like, yes, Mel likes to do a little bit of puffery. Like if you listen to her podcast, like she likes to exaggerate things. Like the woman can sell you a glass of water. She's very good with her words, and she convinces you that her guest is a world renowned, like when she interviewed Amy Porterfield, she introduced Amy Porterfield like the world-renowned expert, and the world-renowned expert in online courses.
She is world. I mean, 3 people in other countries have to know about you, and then you're world renowned.
Yeah. So there's a little like Mel can get into the like sometimes you're just like, really, Mel, like
a little exaggeration.
Yeah. but that woman, you cannot take away from the fact that she has been a trailblazer for a lot of women my age or younger or older, who a great example of what putting in the work and let them talk about let them plagiarize. Mel, I'm sorry, I just had to let them plagiarize.
Well, we have Jay.
We like you, Mel. I like you.
We have Jay Bryan, who says his heart goes out to the original creator.
I know.
And thanks you for doing such great research on this live stream.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're enjoying these shows. So how do you protect your intellectual property, these modern times? Really, this is bad news for all of us. There's not a lot that you can do. Like I said, it relies a lot on creators. And you don't want to be on either side of the spectrum. You don't want to be on the side like that your name is attached to infringement. Your name is attached to stealing ideas. Your name is attached to taking advantage of creators. Or on the other side, just having like be this thing that you can change your life, that can build a legacy for your kids, can like really you can start making money, pay your mortgage, whatever, and now you can't because somebody else stole it from you. So it sucks either way. So what do you do? How do you protect your intellectual property? Let's go through this very quickly. Timestamp your work. Use your own website to publish your work with timestamps. So there's a record of you posting the thing. If you post on YouTube, on Instagram, or on whatever this platforms are very good at adding the time and the date and all that to when you posted the thing, because that's gonna create a record of if you created this particular work before the infringement, of after the infringement. Saved dates of drafts in Google Documents or cloud storage with clear naming conventions, so you can go back and find your files. Consider using tools like archive.org or notarize.com to create indisputable digital stamps.
The indisputable stamps again?
Indisputable digital stamps.
Timestamps.
Wonderful.
Okay. The goal is to create a clear paper trail showing when your work was first published or shared. And so this is something that is not going to help so people like automatically they stop and they don't steal your intellectual property. This is something that you want to keep records of in case you go to litigation. Like that's all there is. In case you have to like send a demand letter or things like that, but litigation is expensive. Add clear attribution notice. Always include a line like, and this is important. This is a notice that you're going to include on that post, on the thing that you wrote, on anything that you will create. This concept, theory, poem is original too. And then you add your name. And then if you share, please give credit. So this is a notice. It will tell people, oh, okay, I have to, give credit to this person. If they're like, for some reason, like, all over the place and they're just like, they don't pay attention to anything, but they see this notice that you want to get credit for your work, then people, can pay more attention to this. The other thing is to register your copyrights. We already talked about Title 17 of the Copyright Act in the United States and many countries, like your work is automatically copyrighted when you create it. But it's hard to enforce that unless it's registered. So go through, I know
that this is not something that you may want to do, to deal with the government and to like spend hours trying to figure this out. Or, if you can pay an attorney to help you with this, well, even better, because then you don't
have to spend time on this. But register is important. Some things like books, poems, articles, frameworks through the U.S. Copyright Office of your local equivalent if you're not in the U.S. You can register an entire collection, like multiple poems or blog posts, in one filing to save time and money.
and money.
The other thing that you can do is a trademark. We already, show you how, in this case, Mel filed for a trademark for the two words "let them" or "let them," so she can use it on her book, "Let Them Theory." But before you do this, before you create anything, before you use that name on your website, just do a trademark search to make sure that it's not taken. Because the last thing you want to do is to like create, a website and to rebrand and to do all this, and then do your trademark search and see that somebody else has filed or has a trademark on that name, then you can't use it, or you can use it at your own risk, knowing that somebody else is going to send you a cease and desist letter to force you to not use the name. So do a trademark search. And I'm going to share the link to the USPTO website so you can get more information about this. File a trademark application in your country. Here in the US is through the USPTO. A trademark gives you the exclusive right to use the phrase in a commercial context, such as on a book, courses, merch, or websites, whatever you want to sell online, and you can't put the name of it or the words that you trademark. Keep receipts. Document absolutely everything and dates, and I think this is redundant, but keep a trail of all of your creations, and when you post things, that's important. Build a loyal community, and we're seeing that here. There's a reason why this came to my attention. There's a reason why there's a lot of people now talking about it and bringing more attention to this. And please, please, please share this live stream with other creators. Share this as much as you can. We need to make a lot of noise and make ourselves be united as creators, and make sure that, you know, Mel or somebody from her team you know, gets to hear us, and that we set precedent for other creators who have the influence and who have you know, the means and the big communities to not do this anymore, because it's just very unfortunate and shady behavior. So share this, and share Casey's poem as well, if you can. I'm going to share her Instagram here, so you can go follow her and see her work, and just let's make a lot of noise. Let's as creators get together and fight this together. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing her community speaking up, like, hey, wait a minute, like, you know, this isn't Mel, you're not the first one. You're not the first one. This isn't groundbreaking. Like, there's this person who created this poem, who you know, it went viral. People are tattooing those two words on themselves, and yeah, Mel's audience had the same reaction. She's been showing pictures of people tattooing "Let Them" on themselves as well. So Casey has a community. She grew a community of people who got inspired by her poem, and that's why we are. This issue is getting you know, the recognition that it deserves because of her community. So the best thing that you can do to grow your business, to protect yourself, is to have an army of people out there recognizing your worth as a creator, and just supporting you in case of this happens. We can make a lot of noise for it. The more public you are with your work, the harder it is for others to copy it without being noticed. Consider watermarks and signing, you know, digital work. All of these are things that you can add to your creations. Be very vocal and don't stay quiet. Go public. You know, reach out directly to the person. I don't know if Casey has reached out to Mel and her team, but that's the first thing that you should do in case you know, something like this happens. Is just like, just go to the person directly and say, like, hey, I created this poem, and you know, it's similar to what you said, and your TikTok that went viral, and you know, I didn't get the recognition, and whatever it is that the conversation has to say or take place, or I don't know what I'm saying, like, I got lost. But the thing here is, like, just go to the person and let them know. Let them let them know what's going on. Yes, just seek the support of your community. So, big issue here. This could have gone like so much deeper, but I decided just to keep it here, just not going more into the legalities of this. But like I said, this is something that, you know, as a small creator, it really touches a nerve, because I just want to see, like, seeing people getting the recognition that they deserve, and seeing like everybody to succeed. Like, we are in a world that, like, anybody can succeed, and anybody can create like wonderful things and get the recognition and get paid for what they do. And this is you know, something that we advocate for here. So that's why this case is a little bit tragic, and I hope that you know, it comes to a good resolution. But like you know, like we saw Mel's words, that, you know, that she denied seeing the poem, that was not the inspiration for her book, and it's going to be very, you know, hard to get her to say otherwise. And she's allowed to tell her truth, and that's her truth. and like we're not going to know how things happen really. So any
Yes.
comments?
I just
Questions?
think it unpacks and brings up a lot of extra fun things that Veronica will likely be exploring on future content sancochos.
Yes.
Specifically, AI's involvement and how you can copyright an idea anymore. Already the whole branch of law, intellectual property, is complicated enough. And I think it just comes down to, you can copyright your performance, you can copyright recordings, you can copyright videos that you make a lot easier than you can copyright something like a poem or a phrase or even a concept, especially now with the gray area of AI, because everything can be revised and you can pull it and compare it to any random style that you want. And although that's a little bit scary in terms of copyright and perhaps losing some of your own work that you've been working on, it's also very exciting, and it has a lot of cool implications as far as like where we're going in terms of humanity, and also like our the way that we communicate, and how we're all kind of like becoming better just naturally at identifying what is authentic or not. And we are even putting people on the hot seat a little bit more. So by building a community, by sharing your message, by showing up and committing to sharing yourself and your energy and what you believe in, you will build a community of people who will support you when things like this happen to you. And that's also another really cool takeaway for me from your presentation here. And yes, and
don't be a stranger. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and that you are here every Friday. And I will see you next Friday.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.